I think you all understand there are certain subjects I can and cannot talk about, but I'm happy to take your questions.
Well, on that subject, Mr. Stone, I know that there's been talk about a gag order being in place for this indictment in this case. What can you say in response to that?
At 10 o'clock this morning, my lawyers filed a motion to show cause because we now know that the special counsel's office released my indictment to the media 2.5 hours before it was unsealed by a federal magistrate. So the argument made by the judge is that my defending myself in public and exercising my First Amendment rights had the potential to taint the jury pool, and therefore I wouldn't be able to get a fair trial. I would argue that this kind of media manipulation has the potential to taint a jury pool. I think the manner in which I was arrested, I don't own a valid passport, I don't own a firearm. The magistrate released me essentially on my signature, and no cash bond posted, which means that the court doesn't believe I'm a flight risk. The government did not object to that, so clearly they don't believe I'm a flight risk. I was represented, and the Office of Special Counsel knew it. 29 armed FBI agents, 17 vehicles, 2 of them armored, a helicopter, an amphibious unit, all an unnecessary expenditure paid for by the taxpayers for the theater of it, to create a public image of me as guilty before I get an opportunity to prove that I'm innocent.
In your filing today, what are you hoping the judge will do?
In all honesty, I haven't even had a chance. I know the details, but I haven't had a chance to read it. So I would urge you to look at the actual filing. It's up at Pacer.
Did you have any connection with Jeff Bezos's girlfriend?
None whatsoever. I think I'm a convenient punching bag here. I know Michael Sanchez only casually. We have a mutual friend. He called me 2 weeks ago to ask me whether it was plausible that the national security apparatus under this administration had somehow obtained Jeff Bezos' text messages or Lauren Sanchez's text messages. He told me that the Amazon security people had conducted an investigation and that they had concluded that neither one of those cell phones had been hacked. I don't know that to be true, but that's what he said. And I said I thought that was highly implausible. Use of the national security apparatus for that would be illegal. I don't think they'd carry it out if they did get such an order. I doubt they did get such an order. I really don't think this is political. That's the sum total of my, he went on to ask me if I thought it was possible that a third party could have done this, the Mossad, MI6. I said I thought that was equally unlikely. That's the sum total of my involvement.
Do you have any other conversations with him about this?
No. No. And he's a friendly acquaintance. I met him 2 years ago. I haven't heard from him since. We have mutual friends. He seemed like a good guy to me. That's what I know.
Mr. Stone, in the pleading this morning, your attorneys have asked that the special counsel be found in contempt of court. CNN has said that they found out about the arrest by staking out the grand jury the day before. They saw the prosecutors walking by with suitcases, assumed that they were going to Florida, and it happened like that's how they said it went down. What are your thoughts on CNN's explanation?
I think that is implausible. First of all, my attorney learned that I had been arrested not from the special counsel's office, not from the DOJ, but from a CNN reporter. That reporter sent him a draft copy of my indictment, not the copy with the Pacer markings, but a draft that showed it had been created the day before. CNN also says they've been staking out my house every Friday for months. The security cameras show no such thing. And in fact, a CNN reporter called me the day before to ask me for my home address. I think it's abundantly clear from the video camera, which I sent to the Senate and House Judiciary Committee, that CNN showed up 50 minutes before the FBI, that they set up their camera 10 minutes before the FBI arrived. That would have to be the shortest stakeout in American history. This is the greatest coincidence since the Reichstag fire.
What made you do this today? Why are you here today?
I had this on the books. I had agreed to speak to the Tiger Bay Club. I have spoken to them on a number of occasions previously, usually with the release of my books, and therefore I did not want to cancel on these fine people.
Thank you.
You've been encouraging Donald Trump to run for president since the 80s, and finally, obviously, got to be president. You're in this situation now. Was it worth it?
Well, as you know, I have pled not guilty. I stress that my indictment does not include Russian collusion, does not include any collaboration with WikiLeaks, does not include any allegation that I received stolen material, either allegedly hacked or allegedly stolen emails, does not allege conspiracy. The fact that we have 4.8 million new jobs, 500,000 manufacturing jobs, wage growth at the greatest rate in American history, record unemployment, lowest since 1969, the record lowest employment for African Americans and Hispanics since those statistics began being kept, that the president clearly wants to get our troops out of Libya, out of Afghanistan, and out of Iraq, and particularly the criminal justice reform bill that he signed. I have been, for a number of years, for anyone who would follow, I'm a libertarian conservative. I'm opposed to the war on drugs, which I think has been an ignominious racist failure. I have opposed the 1994 crime bill, which had harsh mandatory penalties for the first time nonviolent crime of possession, which has fallen disproportionately on African Americans and poor people. The president has changed that. Yes, I think all those things made it worth it.
Mr. Stone, shortly after your arrest, you said that it was 29 officers and I believe 19 vehicles.
17.
17 vehicles. How did you get those numbers?
I
Did you
counted.
count
I
as
count.
you were being let out of your house in handcuffs, or where did you get those
I counted
numbers?
by looking at the security camera video. I did count it was
But you
easy.
hadn't seen the video. You were taken immediately to the courthouse, so you wouldn't have seen the video before you could come to
I
count.
confirmed those numbers. I did a mental count because I was standing out in front of the house for an hour.
So you counted the vehicles and the officers.
Well, the vehicles were obvious. They were all lined up on the same street.
Okay, so that's where the numbers come
There's been some speculation that your outspokenness since your arrest and continuing to defend the president is some kind of a bid to get a pardon from him. Is there any truth to that?
I've not had a discussion about a pardon with anybody, including the president, nor have my lawyers.
When's the last time you spoke with the president?
It's been a long time, a couple of years.
Have you spoken to him since he's been president?
Yes.
How is the fundraising going for your legal defense fund?
It's going fairly well. I mean, it is probably enhanced by the wave of publicity, but I'm looking at having to raise $2 million is the projected cost. I would point out that the special counsel has unlimited tax money and an unlimited platoon of Ivy League prosecutors. I have 4 very fine lawyers. Bruce Rogow is one of the leading civil and criminal attorneys in the country, also an expert on the First Amendment and constitutional issues. He's appeared before the U.S. Supreme Court on 11 occasions. I also have Grant Smith and Rob Bushell and Tara Campion. They are all excellent lawyers. We may at some point add additional attorneys to our team. It's a question of my ability to raise the $2 million. My greatest concern, of course, is that if I am gagged, it makes it difficult for me to tell people to go to stonedefensefund.com. That's stonedefensefund.com.
And how much are you getting paid today to speak?
0. I will be selling my books.
Mr. Stone, can you talk a little bit about what you will be talking about during the luncheon?
Well, I will not be talking about the specifics of the case or the indictment, and I have avoided that, generally speaking, other than to say that they are nonviolent process crimes and I pled not guilty. I'm going to talk more about politics and the upcoming election, the impact of the 2018 election, how I see the 2020 election, and so on. It's more about general American politics.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to Mr. Corsi, Jerome Corsi?
No, nothing at all.
So how much of the $2 million have you raised so far?
I couldn't even tell you. I know that I've spent $500,000. Remember, I was sued by I had a defamation suit, which I won. I was sued by an Obama-connected group that accused me of collusion with Russia. They had no such evidence. That suit was dismissed. But even getting a suit dismissed costs a lot of money. I still have a pending suit where I'm being sued by the Democratic National Committee, which, frankly, I'm hopeful that in discovery we can get a look at those servers because no one else has seen them. So I have those ongoing litigations, plus the investigation of the new investigation of the House Intelligence Committee, plus this series of indictments. So it is the fundraising is daunting.
Everyone who's been charged basically in connection with the special counsel's investigation has accepted a plea bargain. Mr. Manafort went to trial, but has subsequently accepted one. Are there any conditions under which you would accept a plea bargain?
Not that I see at this time.
So Stone, can you say anything about Mr. Gates, Richard Gates? Is there anything you can talk about? Have you talked with him?
Whom? I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Mr. Gates?
Which Gates?
Richard?
No, I have no comment. I didn't know if you meant Congressman Matt Gaetz.
What do you think about Congressman Matt Gaetz?
I like him. I like him. Put me down as a fan.
Do you feel like you're out here alone, speaking in your own defense?
No, my daughter has done an extremely good job of speaking on my defense, as have friends of mine who, when they're interviewed by the media.
And how are you doing these days?
Well, I feel pretty good. I mean, I spend my time raising money. I also have a new book coming out March 1st called The Myth of Russian Collusion. I recommend it to you, but it really is, in truth, it's my book on the 2016 election with a much longer front end, which is now in paperback.
You've gone on record saying that you do not think that Donald Trump is going to be running for re-election. Do you still believe that?
Well, what I said was I thought it was possible that he would not run for re-election. And that I think got misconstrued, particularly by the British press. What I said was if at the end of 4 years or 3.5 years, you have a boom economy, he has succeeded in sealing the borders, he's redone these enormous multi-international trade deals which haven't served us well. He has brought crime levels down in the country. It basically achieved his goals. Then I thought it was entirely possible that he could ride off into the sunset and go down as one of our greatest presidents. To this day, I don't believe he ran for president to be someone. He ran for president to do something. And therefore, if he feels he's done it at the end of 4 years, I think it's conceivable. Why he would want to subject himself to the vituperation and the torrent of hate that he and his family get every day, it has to be wearing. But so I thought it was possible that he would choose not to run based on the fact that he'd achieved the things he ran on. I would add to that withdrawing us a substantial number of troops from our foreign entanglements where our inherent national interests are not clear.
Can you talk about how this has impacted your family as well?
Well, 2 years of insidious leaks, Newsweek magazine saying that I'm involved in plea negotiations, CBS saying I'm going to be indicted for treason, the Daily Beast, I think, saying that I have an office in Moscow and I travel there often. None of them willing to retract those things, all of them false. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, even the Washington Post, that has had a very negative effect on my personal income. And therefore, in December, I lost my life and health insurance. I had to sell my car. It was a 2006. I didn't get much for it, but I had to pay the lawyers. So it has had a negative financial impact on my family. I still have some work. I'm eating a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. There's also the question of personal security. I mean, we get threats every day. Going out in public is an adventure. And therefore, I think my family has a concern, but they're entirely supportive. and as are millions of Americans who are praying for me, which I really appreciate.
Roger, do you have any indication that Mueller is working on a second indictment? It's kind of like a 1-2 punch, like what he did against Manafort?
I couldn't speculate.
You said you didn't conspire to get any of this information from the DNC or Podesta, but in your past, have you ever acquired information that's been obtained from a foreign
No,
entity?
no. All right, thank you very much.